I rise tonight to speak about a matter that I believe is getting misconstrued by the member for Gwoja, that being the current situation at Yipirinya School. Yipirinya School is a non-government school that is majority federally funded. It's important to note the board asked for the Registrar Non-Government Schools to conduct a special investigation in 2024. The report of the investigation made 26 recommendations, including addressing financial management, school leadership and governance. The school board also asked for a statutory manager to implement the recommendations of the report. The key focus of current statutory management is to ensure ongoing financial viability and appropriate governance of the school so that it continues to provide education services for Alice Springs children. An experienced statutory manager was appointed to administer Yipirinya School from 25th of June 2025. Under statutory management, the statutory manager assumes the role of the school council. The goal of statutory management is to ensure the school remains open, long-term financial viability and sustainability of the school, and that the school is well positioned to continue to serve the Alice Springs community. Madam Speaker, the Northern Territory Government will not be providing emergency funding for the school. What the special investigation into Yipirinya School looked into was the performance of the school council in terms of governance, composition and skills, the school's relationship with Children's Ground, payments of principals' fines, school council members accepting money and tickets as gifts, school council approving a pay rise for the principal, and the principal approving rental payments out of school funds and continuing payment for staff not rocking up to work. Let me be clear, Madam Speaker. Yipirinya School plays an important role for Aboriginal children in Central Australia, and that is why we will continue to support the school through the department to implement the recommendations of the report. Getting the school financially viable is our priority. I want to point out to the member for Gwoja, who was on the panel that appointed the former principal, that the panel members were Pauline Schober, Les Turner, the CEO of the Central Land Council, and Sheralee Taylor. Sheralee, being the former Labor candidate for Namatjira in 2024, is featured in many online photos with the member for Gwoja, and she is currently an advisor for Minister Malandiri McCarthy. So the hypocrisy from the member for Gwoja astounds me. These individuals who are close to the member for Gwoja hired and appointed the former principal. I can also reveal the former principal was appointed to the NT Board of Studies in 2020 by the former Minister Lauren Moss, and he was then reappointed by former Minister Eva Lawler in 2023. I seek leave, Madam Speaker, to table the interview report into the former principal of Yipirinya School. Can I get leave to table that report? Thank you, and thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise tonight to speak about an issue deeply important to me and the people of Central Australia, an issue that demands urgent action from both the Northern Territory Government and the Federal Government. But what I have to say is not only alarming, it is heartbreaking. It's a story of buck passing, of what smells like a cover-up, and an even deeper, a political stench. And it's a school, and it's the children who attend that school who are paying the price. It's the dedicated staff, some who have worked there for decades, who are paying the price. Yipirinya School is far too important to the people of Alice Springs to lose. For decades, it's been a place that nurtures our children, honours and enriches culture and identity by preserving languages, and gives hope to families who are too often forgotten. But right now, that hope is under threat because of the actions of one bad actor, the former principal, and several senior executives. This proud school has been driven into turmoil. Their behaviour has pushed it to the brink of collapse. They should be ashamed of themselves for the damage they have caused. And the political representatives who knew of some of this behaviour, who stood by and did nothing because it wasn't to their political advantage to call it out, should have the moral backbone to stand up and help this school in its fight for a future. For months, I have called on the Northern Territory Government and the Registrar of NT Schools to release the report of the special investigation into Yipirinya School in the interest of parents and caregivers and the whole community. Instead, I have been handballed from agency to agency, no one taking responsibility, no transparency. I was offered a briefing that was nothing more than a whitewash, a nothing to see here exercise. I reject that completely. So tonight I ask, who is responsible for the report and acting on its findings? The Department of Education, the Registrar, the Department of Trade, Business and Innovation, or the statutory manager acting on behalf of the school board? Parents, caregivers and staff have told me deeply disturbing allegations of corruption, of fraud, of conduct, of sexual harassment, of misuse of funds. I've been told huge sums of money spent on travel and personal expenses with no oversight. Children sent interstate after damaging school property without parental consent. Child abuse concerns withheld and manipulated to support a political media strategy. Children questioned by the former principal and the media without parental consent. Children questioned about sexual assault allegations by a journalist with no parental or guardian consent and no qualified support on hand. Loans to staff that have not been repaid. $40,000 invoices to mow lawns. Bar tabs charged to school credit cards. Sexual harassment claims settled out of court. $500,000 to fit a shopfront out in the Todd Mall. People paid to stay silent and the principal directing staff to be paid wages even though they were absent from school. External organisations being paid large sums of money to provide educational programs when they are not schools. Threats of cultural payback. Hotel room charges and fines paid for by the school. Costs charged to the school that were incurred by the former principal who was involved in plans to restructure the Land Council and change their present CEO. All these damning actions and allegations are outlined in the Special Investigation Report. A whistleblower, Mr Deputy Speaker, concerned at the lack of accountability and the burying of this report in a dark corner by the CLP government entrusted me with the contents of that report. Parts of that report have been redacted. Given the shocking allegations and findings of the report, I have to wonder how bad and harmful the redacted sections may be. Right now, the school itself, the staff, the parents, the new leadership are all trying to pick up the pieces. They are doing it alone, without the support of either the Territory or the federal government. They are rebuilding trust, restoring the reputation and doing the heavy lifting. I acknowledge them and I thank them. Parents tell me things are slowly improving under the new management, but serious concerns remain about the statutory manager, Mr Stuart Reid. Staff report that proposals made months ago continue to be ignored. There's no transparency. Mr Reid has been at the school for at least only a week in 5 months. He's never been into a classroom. He's never spoken to the language teachers, yet he speaks for the school. The most alarming of all, he's told the school that they owe millions, creating fear of mass redundancies, which we are seeing now. Mr Deputy Speaker, I am angry. I am upset. Right now, over 20 Aboriginal people working in meaningful jobs are about to lose their job, and no one in government seems to care. 20 people gone, just like that. We constantly hear both governments talk about closing the gap, getting more Aboriginal people into work. But when 20 jobs are on the line, there is silence. I asked the Education Minister, if this were a school in Katherine, would you be showing as little care for the students and staff as you are now? Chief Minister, if this was a school in Palmerston, would you be as blind and deaf to the needs of a school community as you are to Yipirinya? The Northern Territory Government must now be open, transparent and accountable. Alice deserves answers. How long will Yipirinya remain under statutory management? Why are staff proposals being ignored? Why was a liquidator appointed instead of someone with experience in education and community rebuilding? When will the considered recommendations of the government's own investigation be implemented? When Mr Deputy Speaker, will this happen? It's coming up to a year with the Special Investigator completing his report. The silence and inaction of this government is reprehensible. Mr Speaker, I fight for Yipirinya because I care for the kids, I care for the teachers, I care for the families who rely on this school. The failures to the former principal and his allies, not to the staff and children who remain there. So why do we continue to see the government's punishing the victims of this? I ask, where are all the voices who previously were loud about Yipirinya School under the regime of the disgraced former principal? Where is Jacinta Price? Where is Sarah Henderson? Not so long ago, they were putting out media releases calling on the federal government to fund Yipirinya to the tune of $12 million to the former principal's pet project. The senators were very vocal in the media about the school's needs, praising the former principal, using children for political mileage and attacking the Central Land Council. Where are they now when the school truly needs their help? That's right, the former principal has gone and is actually awaiting sentencing for assaulting children. And Senator Price's mother no longer works at the school. The senator's silence is damning. It's now clear that their actions were nothing more than a politically motivated attempt to destabilise and gain power. It's disgusting and morally corrupt. Yipirinya is not just a school. It is the heart and soul of our community. It serves children from some of the most challenging and diverse backgrounds. These kids deserve stability, compassion, and the opportunity. And most of all, they deserve to learn in an environment strengthened by language and culture. Yipirinya deserves better. Our children deserve better. And our community will not stop fighting until they get it. Mr Deputy Speaker, tonight we demand accountability, we demand transparency, and we demand integrity. Mr Deputy Speaker, I seek leave to table the report of the special investigation into Yipirinya School.
Leave granted? Aye. Leave is granted.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. This report should serve as a reminder to everyone, and I do hope that the government take it seriously, and I do hope that the police look at the allegations in this report and look at investigating. Because anyone who uses a school for their own political agendas, who allows the erosion of the care and protection of children in an educational facility is an absolute disgrace. We demand action. I ask all members tonight, when you leave here tonight, think of the 20 Aboriginal staff or thereabouts that are being told that they are not worthy of a job at that school. Doris O'Brien, an Aboriginal educator, has been at that school for 47 years, told she's not valued, she's irrelevant, she's made redundant. That is a disgrace, an absolute disgrace, Mr Deputy Speaker. At a time when we should be empowering people to support Aboriginal economic deployment opportunities and employment, we're saying no. Do better.